So we're joined here by Jeff Hayes, the chairman of the Colorado Republican Party. Few months into the new gig, treating you all right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it.
It's an honor.
We should note that we did invite the chairwoman of the Colorado Democratic Party to join us or to have a separate conversation. We've been unsuccessful in trying to get that lined up so far. The conversation over the weekend about race and politics and where we are in America. Are there room for white supremacists or white nationalists in the Colorado Republican Party?
Not on my watch. I wish they would leave us if they are in it.
Do you see that kind of thing? Do you hear that rhetoric in meetings? Do you know that it's out there on the fringes of the state party?
I really don't. I don't hear it. And that doesn't mean because I don't have a comprehensive view of everybody's thoughts and beliefs, but it's never been presented to me.
Senator Cory Gardner broke pretty decidedly with the president over the weekend, saying you need to call out the KKK and neo-Nazis by name. Do you agree with Senator Gardner on this, that the original response was too tepid, kind of provided an opening?
I do, and let me explain. I think it's a tough job being the president of the United States. You have to have the facts because it's very difficult to backtrack if you get it wrong, and you need to choose your words wisely. I look at what Cory was doing as being coaching, and coaching in a way that Donald Trump could hear him through Twitter, through the airwaves, and I think it worked. And I think that Trump's subsequent comments were right on the money.
There is a group coming to Colorado Springs next year, a white nationalist group called VDARE. They talk about how wonderful the white race is and how everybody else needs to be kept out to preserve America. What kind of reception do you think they should get in the Springs?
Cold, tolerant. You know, we do believe in the First Amendment, not only from a governmental standpoint, but also individual conversations. I don't think that anybody has the authority to beat somebody up for what they're saying. Certainly, any facility has the right, certainly, to refuse that service. But I don't think that they're going to be overly welcome in Colorado Springs. It's not been my experience.
Do you have any concern? I mean, certainly Charlottesville didn't go looking for the fight that they got this past weekend. You're from El Paso County. Concern at all? Any discussion about what might happen next year if this group comes to town, and then other folks come to town looking to agitate and get into it with them?
You know, one of the things I think we can do with these folks is recognize that there are diverse opinions, even repugnant opinions, and expressing yourself. Sometimes the more those people are heard, the more diminished they become because rational people realize this is absurd. We can't have these people gaining the levers of power because that really is what it's all about. I think one of the reasons why you had the violence in Charlottesville, and there are a lot of reasons I'm sure that I'm not even aware of, but these people are trying to occupy the same space. Whether you're a hardcore socialist or you're a dictatorial type person in the white supremacy movement, they're trying to boss us around, they're trying to control us, and ultimately if they gained the levers of power in government, they would exercise totalitarianism. And I think that's why they're in natural conflict with one another.
Let's turn from that topic and talk about some other issues at hand. Republican primary voters in Colorado are going to have a lot of choices for governor.
Yes, they will.
Do you think they should look for somebody who's similar to Donald Trump, President Trump?
Only if that's what they want for the state of Colorado. And I'm not seeing that particular person show up. There's only one Donald Trump. And I think anybody that tried to emulate him without really being that type of person would be quickly exposed as being a fraud and would not gain you know, that seat. We do have some outside candidates, people that are not part of government, they're business owners and perceived outsiders. So I think there's some that are trying to occupy a similar space. But again, there's only one Donald Trump.
This is the first year in which non-affiliated voters are going to be able to pick a party primary and vote. That's what the voters decided last year. And you'll hear from conservative Republicans, and you'll also hear from the Bernie Sanders liberal types that, well, this means that now we're going to pick some squishy centrist person. Do you think that that's the case?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be the candidate that can articulate the message the best, that resonates with the greatest number of Republicans. And I always looked at this thing as being an opportunity, not a crisis. There are people on our side that think it's an existential threat to the existence of the party. And other states have more open primaries than we have, and there are Republican parties, for example, in Alabama and Texas, other places are really thriving. So I think it's all about doing your job, doing it well, and having great people to run.
And there is some discussion within your party about the idea of not doing the primary and just going to the convention. Said, any chance that happens?
There's a chance, but I don't think it's a very large. In fact, I think based on my election results, because it was a contentious issue during my campaign, I think it's going to get defeated. But it's important for us to have the discussion. It is part of Proposition 108 that the Central Committee does have the authority to exercise their vote, but you have to get a 75% approval to get out of the primary. And I don't think we're going to come close to that, but it is important for our group to have the discussion.
Last two questions, both about the president. Do you feel like Colorado has a good pipeline to President Trump's ear? If you're hearing something on the ground, in the grassroots, if there's concern locally, do you know who to call to get a message to the president and his people?
I do. And the White House Political Office has been very generous with their time and their assistance. We have individuals that are closer to the president than others. And so, yes, I think that I could get certainly not a direct hotline to the president's Oval Office phone, but they're paying attention to Colorado. It's a swing state. It's a very important battleground state. And yeah, we have good relationships with not only the RNC, but also the White House Political Office.
Why do you suppose he's only dipped his toe west of the Mississippi in his first 6 months in office?
He's pretty busy. I'm not really sure. We'd have to ask him that.
Okay, because he seems a little East Coast centric at this point. Last question. First 6 months in office. Has he been a success?
Yes, I think so. We have an insatiable desire to get everything done. And we still have some time remaining in his term. I think everybody needs to realize that. But it depends on what your focus is. If you're enamored with the perceived failure of healthcare right now, and I've used the baseball analogy, we fouled off a couple of pitches, but we're still at the plate, and we're still going to revisit that. I think we're going to have success in tax reform. That's going to continue to make the economy more robust. We're adding jobs, we're deregulating, we're getting the federal government off the backs of individuals and businesses as well. Justice Gorsuch is a strong victory for our side, and we continue to get conservative, constitutional-focused judges appointed at the federal level. So there's a lot of good things that are going on that are not necessarily making the news.
I asked you if he's been successful, and you named one thing that they haven't started on yet, one thing that they fell on their face with, and then Judge Gorsuch. Yeah. That's a little tough for you to sell, is it not? Come on.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out, because I probably didn't answer it correctly. He ran on an immigration platform. By some measures, crossings are down 52%. I think the workforce at the border is very much in support of Donald Trump, and he's not doing anything extraordinary except obeying the existing law. And I think that's really important across the board, is to obey the law, because if people don't like it, they can fight to get it changed. But if you ignore the law, or you look the other way, it sends a terribly profound message across the country that laws don't matter. And we are a society of laws, not of men. We're a society of laws, and it's important that we respect those. And I think he's doing a good job in that regard.
Jeff Hayes, Chairman of the Colorado Republican Party, we appreciate your time. If you'd like to see the full discussion, it's posted on the Next YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/next on 9 News. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.